Boom, here we are.
Welcome to another 2.5 Oyajis. This is, well, do I have to say it?
Strawberry Mochi! I think it says on.
Okay, it's Gimmeabreakman. Otherwise known as Fatman. King of the Morin Army. And Hiko Simon, our regular guest. How you doing, Hiko?
It says live stream is starting soon. Are we live?
We're live.
No, yeah, we're live. But
there's about a 40-second
video for a few seconds. And of course, our beautiful guest tonight. They're always beautiful, just in case past guests are watching. But this is probably the most beautiful guest we've ever had, Hiko. What do you think?
No.
Oh, there it goes. Got to turn off the sound now. Now we kill the sound. Okay.
Strawberry Mochi.
Strawberry Mochi. Someone's got the sound on.
I turned off.
Okay. Okay. And welcome. Welcome.
Hello.
Very good to have you along, Kelly.
Now,
actually,
Nice
and you are friends, I've been learning, with next week's guest, Christina in Japan.
Yeah, I love Christina. She's so much fun.
Yeah, I've been kind of, well, we're gonna get her on next week, but I've been blown away by her channel.
Yeah, I hope she's watching. She's supposed to watch.
I'm sure she will be.
Victor, you have a kid.
She does make great videos.
Yeah, she does make amazing videos.
Too. I think, Kelly, you're a great editor as well.
No.
No, I like her editing.
I'm still learning.
No, you're doing great. If anyone does not know, this is Strawberry Mochi. She's an up-and-coming YouTuber, and by up-and-coming, what are you getting, like 4,000 subs a month now?
4,000 subs? Probably. I think so. I don't know.
That's a lot. She has blown up. You're at about 25,000 subs now.
Yeah, I was like really surprised.
Seriously?
Like, I literally. What are you saying?
Seriously, you're up to 22,000 at the moment.
Yeah, like 22,000 now.
At her rate, though, she'll break 30,000 by Christmas. Not by New Year's, I predict.
I started YouTube only like 9 months ago, so I'm still like confused about everything.
Believe me, we've been doing it for 10 years and we're still confused about everything.
Yeah, so apparently the RedTube, what is it, Hiko, RedTube or YouTube Red?
Yeah, I'm stuck in the habit of calling it RedTube now. At first I was trolling, but then it became real.
So, Chris abroad in Japan, he tweeted that he was already making a little money off it, but I tried logging in, I couldn't find it. And
I don't think you have to be on it to make money from it. It's so long as people who are RedTube or YouTube Red paying people, if they watch your videos, you get some sort of a credit for their views.
Right.
So there must be something in the analytics that says that. I don't know.
But it's not in Japan yet, apparently.
Like, I don't even like understand the whole thing.
Not actually in Japan yet. Before we start, though, I want to say thanks to the three old dudes. They're always kind of warming up the internet crowd out there. They had a show tonight that I wanted to get on, but unfortunately my son and wife kept me busy a little earlier tonight. But yeah, they invited a lot of people on there. They had a good show. We missed it though. Three old dudes. And there's a couple of other things that before we get into this, Hiko, if you don't mind.
Actually, I have to quickly do something, so you keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I can't try to get my eye holes to work here. This is hard. So actually, I guess we can start on this. Well, why don't we start with you, since I know you, but so a lot of the crowd probably doesn't know you. So why don't you give us a little introduction, Kelly? Oh, can I say your real name?
You can call me Kelly, yeah. Everybody's calling me Mochi.
Mochi.
Really strange.
You're not allowed to call Kelly Kelly. Stop it.
No, Kelly's perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, I've been living in Japan for like 2 years, and I'm a teacher, so I love my job. I studied education at Michigan State University, and I also graduated with a Japanese degree. So I'm actually trying to get my master's right now in ESL. So, yeah.
I always tell people that a Japanese degree is really not necessary if you're coming to Japan.
No, it's definitely not.
Well, thanks.
I kind of wish that I changed my major, because I wish I had like Japanese as a minor, because I feel like education wasn't really a major. It wasn't a choice for me to have it as a major. So I just did Japanese because that's what I wanted to do, is be a Japanese teacher, but then it didn't work out, so I came to Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you've been in Japan how long now? 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years, but I've been moving so much. I
Mhm.
lived in like Aomori for 8 months, and I did the jet program, and then I quit, and then I moved to Nagoya right after. So, but I lived in like Shiga Ken for a while for my internship. So I've been all over Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
You said you didn't really enjoy Jet.
No, but I had a really different situation. I think everybody has different situations in that program, and I think a lot of the time you're in very rural areas and isolated places.
Mhm.
But when I moved to Almore, I think Almore is beautiful. Like I have nothing against it. But my job was basically to sit in an office for 8 hours a day and not teach anything. And I wanted to go teach, but they didn't have like a job for me to do because the last girl that left was the last like I was the last jet girl that they were going to have in this program, and then they were going to move me somewhere else so they didn't really care about me. So they kind of just stuck me in an office, and I wasn't teaching. So I was like, and then I looked at my schedule. I'm like, I have 3 months of not teaching straight. I'm like, do you see my schedule? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you know why I came to Japan? And he's like, yeah, to teach, but we'll have more classes in 3 months. I'm like, no, I quit. No, 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 no. So I was like, I'm gonna go crazy in that office. So
Sorry,
I
I forgot
quit.
to click on your face, so everyone's been looking at my face while you spoke.
Oh.
I just
I
fixed
feel
that.
sorry for the people.
I do too. They're like, why does he sound so feminine?
Yeah. It's not big deal.
Okay,
So
there we
you
go. It's working now. For some reason, it was stuck on me. Now it's going to the voice. But
Just to warn you, I giggle a lot. Sorry.
well, that's going to be a problem for us, actually. No giggling is actually allowed. It's one of the rules.
Oh no.
well, I'm going to do away with this mask now for a minute because I'm suffocating.
It looks very uncomfortable.
But if you're outside and it's cold, it's actually pretty nice. So before we get started, though, the subject today, as you can see by the title, is safe. How safe is Japan really? But before we get into that, I want to talk about a couple quick things. The Taiwan racist. Did you see the video?
No.
No?
No?
Taiwan
Nobody saw
racists?
this?
No. No one saw it.
No.
Well, I thought it would be relevant because there was a foreigner just like ourselves who was in Taiwan on the subway, and a Taiwanese went up to him, was giving him the evil eye. So him and his girlfriend, a Taiwanese girl, he was a foreigner. They moved to another car, and the Taiwanese guy followed him and started harassing them, and he filmed the whole thing. And it's pretty fascinating. He's got the whole thing on camera, and he shows it, and he's commenting. He's cutting in and commenting all in Taiwanese. His Taiwanese sounds pretty fluent to me. But the guy's like, "You're ugly. Your Chinese sucks. Your girlfriend's a whore." And the amazing thing is that, and he complained to the police about it, and they did nothing. So after 3 weeks, he put it up on YouTube, and the man who harassed them was arrested.
Great.
Which is just amazing. But I was thinking to myself, wow, I get I've had a few negative experiences in Japan, but nothing like what this guy went through. And he's got the whole thing on video, so when you get a chance, take that out. It's gone viral. It's around the world. Just type in Taiwanese racist arrested or something, you'll find it. But it's a guy here on YouTube, too. He's a YouTuber in Taiwan. But anyway, that's one thing. And, of course, the other thing we have to comment on, which I don't know, I've been out all day. But I see that the Paris death toll is over 150 now. Is that right?
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Like hearing that just made me depressed all day.
Yeah. Thanks, Victor. Now you made it depressed.
What's going on?
I just knew about it. Like it was sad.
And my wife just told me that she read that the ISS claimed responsibility.
The ISS? You mean ISIS?
ISIS. Or the way she pronounced ISIS. I don't know.
Well, so Kelly, having heard that, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to be depressed during the show. But although Victor makes it very hard for us.
Well, when we talk about safety, of course, the first thing we're going to have to admit is that nothing we say, but nothing we say is near, the level of danger that exists in other countries. That's what I wanted to.
No, definitely not. Like I think, like being in the States, I felt more vulnerable than I do here. But like I think as a girl, like a young girl, like young blonde girl, blue-eyed girl, like you get a lot of like sexual harassment. I've had a lot of sexual harassment in Japan, and it's kind of scarring. Like it really is.
And you know what? As a formerly blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy, why don't I get any of that? Seriously, like, why is it that the guys don't get any of the attention? I don't know. I always felt like I was missing out, but you know,
I'm
then I
sure
lost
you
all my
got a
hair.
lot of attention, Higo.
I never did, honestly. I had girls specifically tell me, you know what? If you'd been, I had like girls tell me, if you'd been born a female, you would have been kind of hot, but bad luck.
Yeah, I
That's
think
my
so.
life. I would have been a
That's
hot.
one thing we do enjoy on this channel, Kelly, on the show, is hearing your stories.
Yes.
Right, Higo?
That's right. That's right.
I have interesting stories.
And making inappropriate comments throughout hearing your
And
stories.
we'll interrupt you, and
Yeah.
our viewers will be very frustrated with us.
Yeah, they'll tell us, shut up, you two guys, let her talk.
Let
And all the comments afterwards.
Oh, and I should apologize to everyone who supports. What's that black race, that black group, the thug group we mentioned last week?
The black group, it's Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Oh, I accidentally or mistakenly referred to the whole group as thuggish.
Yes, you said they were
They
thugs.
thought was racist, but I thought, for me, thuggish means just impolite.
Yeah, I became immediately extremely uncomfortable when you said that all the members of Black Lives Matter are thugs.
Can I just interrupt one thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's all say, I know Tyler's watching right now.
Mhm.
I just want to say we should say thank you for his services because it was Veterans Day. So.
Yeah, it was better on Monday, wasn't it?
I just want to say because he was in Afghanistan for a while.
Wow.
We got to get him on the show. He's got an amazing story. Yeah, Tyler, if you're watching.
Amazing stories. Like I can't stop asking him questions.
Tyler is the dude. I'm sorry, who's Tyler?
Tyler is my boyfriend.
Oh, congratulations. And well, he's in Afghanistan
We
right
just
now?
lost half our audience.
I know. No, why did I say that? No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. It's one of the rules. You're not allowed to. Is he in Afghanistan?
No, he's not. He's in Tokyo. He's studying at Temple.
Yeah. Okay, well that's cool. And but he was in Afghanistan. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was for like 5 years. So.
Dang.
Or like I think sometimes in Kansas or something.
Well,
but yeah, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day. It's kind of cool that America has a Veterans. I didn't actually realize until I saw last week tonight that talking about it the other day that America has a Veterans Day.
Doesn't every country have a Veterans Day?
No. I'm from Army family, and definitely no holidays for Army in New Zealand.
Really?
Yeah.
You think French people have a Veterans Day, or they have a... What should I say?
Je ne sais pas.
Belly up day.
Je ne comprends pas. I have no idea.
All right.
Anyway.
Tomoko's in the audience. Hi, Tomoko.
Yes.
Tomoko, I miss you. My voice is kind of gone today, so.
Okay, so she's going to shock us with a couple of her stories now. So.
Oh gosh. Okay.
The
So
floor is yours.
I guess like my point for like this whole thing is just like I do feel like I feel safer in Japan, but at the same time I don't sometimes. Like as a woman, like I hear a lot of people say to me like, "Oh, it's fine. You can walk at night all the way home for 20 minutes in the dark down a dark alleyway and you won't get hurt." Like it's not like I haven't gotten hurt, but I've been like grabbed. I've been almost taken. Like I've literally been almost taken. I was walking down a street in Tokyo, and this was when I was doing my internship. And we stayed at we stayed at an onsen. It was really cheap. And then we left in the morning, and my friend was like, "Yeah, this is like the worst street in Tokyo." Like, "Oh, thanks for telling me that." So I'm like lagging behind with all my luggage, and they're like way up ahead. My friends are way up ahead. And okay, the most scarring thing that I've ever seen in Japan is I look to my left, and there's this dirty like house. And this girl, she had like bleach blonde hair, it looked like, and like the most beautiful blue eyes. She was naked with a blanket over her, and there was a Japanese man standing there. Like he was selling her. It was 10 in the morning. And it scared me. I was like, oh my gosh, where are we? And then these two men came up to me, and they grabbed me, and they're like, let's go. And I like never pushed or hit anybody so hard. I just like, bam, like right in the face, and then I like ran, and my friend was like, let's go, and it was really scary. That was like the most scary thing that ever happened to me in Japan, but we were in a bad area, so just to be fair, like.
How bad an area were you in? What the hell?
I don't know. I have no idea what street it was, but my friend was like, yeah, this is a really bad street, so be careful. And I was like, no, this is in Tokyo.
In Tokyo, do you remember roughly what area of Tokyo it was?
I've never heard of a bad area anywhere in Japan, actually.
It was so long ago. Like it was like my first or second year of college, and I didn't know Tokyo. That was like the first time I've ever been to Tokyo. So my Japanese friend, was the one that was kind of showing us around, and the place was really cheap that we stayed at. It was like 3,000 yen for one night.
Yeah.
So, but it was just like, it was so scary. I've never seen that before, and I know there's a lot of sex trafficking in Japan. Japan is like the top in like sex trafficking, and people don't really talk about it or know about it. There's a lot of like programs that you can donate to like help talk about it, but it's just it happens. So you always have to be careful, and I don't think anybody's actually gonna like lift you up off the street. You had a story, Victor, where your friend was like
stopped someone in Nakamura Ward. I just said goodbye to my female friend, gaijin friend, and we were just walking. We got on the last subway. We'd just been out coming home, and I said goodbye, and I walked away, and she walked away. We got off at the same station, but we lived in different directions, and then I hear her scream, and this black car had stopped, and two guys had jumped out and were grabbing her and pulling her into the car.
Yeah.
And she's blonde. She was blonde too, and I ran after towards the car, yelling as loud as I could, and I guess I scared them off. They let her go.
Thank God you were there. Like.
Yeah. They were going to put her in the car. I mean, who knows what would have happened, you know? But
it's kind of fun.
So those things like do happen, and I think like that, like knowing about sex trafficking in Japan can really help. But the police don't really do anything about it. Like this girl was sitting like outside in the street, like daylight. Like hello.
Japanese?
The girl it looked like she was from New Zealand or something. No, I mean, like I don't know. Like she was blonde and blue-eyed, so she could have been Australian. She could have been American.
Could have been Russian.
Yeah, she could have been anything. But that poor girl, like it's like I can't get that out of my head. Like it's still there. It's like there.
Were they doing like a shoot? Do you think like a porno shoot or something?
No, she was like she looked dirty. Like she was like sitting outside. She looked miserable.
Ooh, I see.
So there's one thing as well, which I must admit, most of when we say foreigners. We're mostly talking about people from Western countries, obviously. I can't talk very well about the experience that Iranians or Chinese people or whatever have, and there are many more of them than us. So while qualifying it like that, certainly, anecdote from my impression of percentages of the young Westerners in Japan, you know, there is a materially larger proportion of men than women in Japan for a start, from my observation, right? I mean, what's your impression, Kelly? It's not 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of military, there's a lot of, and it's a place a lot of young guys come, and you know, there's women as well, but the numbers are different. And so when you socialize with other foreigners, I must admit, I tend to socialize more with, I meet guys more often. When I hear a story like that from you, and I've had this happen a few times, it just reminds me how we can both be in the same place. But it's easy for guys to forget because, you know, this stuff isn't really mostly stuff that guys have to worry about. How, you know, that's stuff that we're just not aware of. And it can be like you're living in a totally different place and being in the same place. And I've only had a few windows on that, but I've got one story which your story just reminded me of. So I used to surf like every weekend. And I had friends who, you know, I used to live in northern Tokyo, actually in Chiba, in a place called Kashiwa. And all my friends, I mean, I was like 21, 22, and all my surfer friends are kind of, you know, they're surfer guys. They look kind of, you know, rough. They're well built. A lot of them are construction workers and stuff like that. They all like driving big American cars and Astro panel vans and stuff like that.
These are Japanese guys, right?
All Japanese friends. And so, you know, when I moved into Tokyo, I would catch a train up to the northern sort of suburbs, and they'd pick me up in a car from the station. I'd get in the car, and we'd all drive out to the beach and go surfing. And I remember there was just this one thing once. I mean, you know how things happen sometimes as a guy, where you see someone react to you like you might be dangerous, and it makes you feel terrible. So I was just coming up. There's like a bus stop, and there was one very attractive-looking kind of, you know, woman standing at the bus stop, and she was standing beside me, and I was there with, you know, a big bag. You know, my friends had my surfboard, so I just had a big bag. I kind of walked up and stood beside her at this bus stop when I knew my friends were coming. She kind of looked across at me, and then my friends in this panel van. I mean, I admit it looked like my friends suddenly drive up in a panel van, and they slide open the door, and this woman just bolted at 100 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, no, that's
He's
not.
probably
That's
so
not,
scared.
that's not
So
it.
in this scary story, you're the actual scary person.
She thought I was. Well, I must admit,
No.
it never occurred to me until I saw her running away that it probably didn't look good. But the fact that she even has a mind that this is a possible risk, which isn't in my mind at all until I see her running away, and I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. And then I was, holy shit, okay, this stuff actually does happen. It's one of those moments where you suddenly realize this is something I would never even think of as any sort of a risk, but this is someone who obviously must have had some shit happen to her. She ran for her life when my friends opened the door to the van to let me in.
Yeah.
So,
I think I told Victor this story. I think I told you a lot of my stories, Victor. Well, actually not all of them, but some of them. But there's that one man that sat on the train with me. It was like 6 o'clock. I was going back from the mall, and there was only one other woman on the train, and the man decided to sit like right next to me, like there's like a zillion seats. Like, why do you have to sit so close to me? And I was gonna get off like the next couple stops, so like I was just like whatever. And he like literally like scooted, like I was squished, and then like he put his hand like under his arm like this, and he grabbed my boob.
That's an old technique, yeah.
He was like this, like trying to feel it, and no, I was so mad. Like I got up and I whacked him in the face with my backpack, and I got off.
That's
like I hit him really hard. He was like what? And I was like, yeah, I was so upset. I'm still angry.
I don't know why guys try that move. It seems like a ridiculous thing to try, but
I should have moved. Like I should have moved, but I think at that moment, like I was just really like shocked. Like I just felt like I couldn't move. Like I just was kind of like nervous.
It would have been rude to move, you mean?
Maybe, but like at the same time, I felt my heart pounding, and I was just really scared. Like I was just shocked. Like I just didn't know what to do. My friend said she was like, some guy tried to kiss her at the train station. She couldn't run away because she was so scared.
Wow.
And then he was just like, thank you, and then like walked away.
I remember actually like my homestay. How did I put it? It was kind of a homestay for a few months when I first came to Japan. I was living at the home of my girlfriend at the time. It was kind of a homestay situation, and her older sister came home crying one day, and it was what happened. And she said there was some junior high school kid, probably 15 or whatever, on a bicycle at Hachioji station. Suddenly came up in front of her on the bike, boom, grabbed her boobs, and then got on the bike and ran away as fast as he could.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny, but at the same time.
Where was this?
This is in Hachioji, so the western, again, outer suburbs.
I think Japanese men like are just so weird when they like do. I don't understand. Like one guy came up and sniffed me. Like, why? Like, what? Why?
Smelled you?
Yeah, it was like just like I was with like a friend, and he just like literally like came up to me. His nose was like right in my hair, and I was like, ew, ew.
So here's the thing, like when dudes hang out with dudes, and we're having beers and we're talking about stuff. I've never had a guy brag about the other day I did the arm under the hand under the arm technique, or I've never had a guy saying, I grabbed a girl and ran away on a bicycle or anything like that. So as a guy just interacting with guys, you don't assume that this sort of thing happens, but then you talk with girls and you find out, and sometimes you find out even about people that guy did this.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my, like, were these people raised by wolves? Like how in the hell do people end up like this? And it's kind of like, again, it inverts my reality a little bit to hear it. Like, what's wrong with guys? And it's kind of, the thing is this, and again, this doesn't happen to guys, but the fact that guys do this stuff, and it's like, dude, what is wrong with people?
like a lot of people say like Japan is very safe, like you don't have anything to worry about, like they're people are very friendly, and it's true, like most people are very friendly, but like you've heard of the murder of like, what's her name?
Blackman?
Lindsay Hawking.
Well, there's a few, Lucy Hawking, Lindsay Blackman, yeah.
Her name was Lindsay Hawking, and she was a teacher at Nova. And it's a huge story. This guy for some reason, the prisoner has a movie out about how he ran away from the police for 3 years.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, actually.
That's Lucy Blackman.
But it's just like, he's getting like all this attention. I don't
Lucy
agree
Blackman
with it.
story. No, Lucy Blackman's the blonde who was killed by the pimp guy.
Yeah, it's not. Her name's Lindsay Hawking. This girl,
Right,
and
that's right. That's what. Yeah.
she did like a lesson with him, and then he was like, she was really dumb. She was like, or he was like, well, I forgot my money at my apartment, so let's go together. Yeah. And so she gets in the taxi with the guy, and then gets out, and then he like raped her and murdered her, and then cut her up in pieces and put her in the backyard.
No, actually, it was Hawker. I just looked it up, and actually
Hawker. I'm sorry, Hawker.
Here's the freaky part. No, he invited her to his house for a private lesson, which he did, and he did all that and killed her, and then he put her body into a sand bathtub that he had ready for her, like before she came over. He actually prepared her, so.
Yeah, he was a really sick man, and he like changed his face and tried to run away from the police. It was just scary, but like those things can happen. Like there's crazy people out everywhere in the world. Yeah. So like just because you hear like Japan is safe and you can walk unprotected at night by yourself and be fine, like that's not always true. There's some weirdos out there, so you always have to be careful. I carry mace. I'm sorry. All these experiences I've had, I'm carrying mace.
That's good to know.
Carry mace.
I do. I carry mace on my keys.
I was emailed by a foreigner who was caught with mace in his bag, and he was I guess arrested for it and then charged with it, and he was, I don't know.
But why would a dude carry mace?
I bought it in Osu.
Yeah, you could buy it in Osu. Yes. Yeah. But he said the police were threatening they were going to bring him to court, and they never did. He was waiting to see what would happen, and in the meantime, he emailed me to ask me for my advice. I'm like, and he wasn't sure if it was really okay or legal.
But why was he carrying mace?
To protect, so he wouldn't get in a fight. He said if anyone hassled him, he would just use mace. He said.
Well, the thing about mace is, I mean, it's primarily a defensive thing, of course, but a dude carrying mace is a little bit, like. Yeah. You wonder if he's not thinking of using it for defense. So that's why the police would probably stop him in that case, and why they probably wouldn't stop a girl with it. Well, that's unusual.
But that's exactly what they told him. They said if you were a girl, we probably wouldn't care.
Right.
Yeah, that's
which is sexist if you think about it.
It is pretty sexist.
I do have a funny story. Well, I guess it's not funny. It probably could have been dangerous, but it's kind of funny. I was staying at my friend's house because I was looking for an apartment in Nagoya at the time, and so I went to work from there a lot. And then one time I came out at night, and I walked out of the station. There were a lot of people around, but this one guy jumped out of the bushes, literally jumped out of the bushes, and asked for my phone number.
Really?
That was like weird. Like I was freaked out first of all because he just jumped right in front of me, and I was like,
and this was Tyler?
Hiding in the bushes. Tyler. And he's like, "Denwashite kudasai," and he like gave me his number, and I was like, "Nope." I was like, "I'm not living here." So yeah, I mean, there's like weird stalkers, and I don't know. That's why I carry mace. I just have a lot of these experiences. I have more, but it's just like I just get nervous, like being by myself. So I think enough. I don't know.
Well, so and certainly. Again, well, just like people ask what it is, and for some reason they ask me sometimes what it's like being black in Japan, and I say, look, I'll tell you what I know, but I'd say don't rely on my experience of it, and it's the same with women. But at the same time, the low-level thing, I mean, the fact is that in Tokyo on the crowded commuter trains there was enough of a problem with groping that the train companies, after all the complaints and so on, they've started, most of the main lines in Tokyo now have dedicated women-only carriages during rush hour, during commuting hours, and that's something that's kind of out of the mind of guys. If it's in the mind of guys, most guys in Japan are paranoid of being falsely accused, because this also happens sometimes. I mean, they do it in these crowded trains, almost to make it look like it's another guy sometimes, or there are cases where there's been mistaken identity. In fact, actually, I read a story this week that an insurance company in Japan has come out for the first time with insurance for being falsely accused of groping.
Wow, that's amazing.
Which seems to me a very specific. I don't think anyone in Tokyo would ever get it, but I know when I was in Kyushu, and they were saying why they were afraid of Tokyo. All the old guys were saying immediately, the first thing they're most afraid of in Tokyo is being afraid of groping. So they were like, I'd always be like this on the trains. But that's kind of a fear of big city thing. But no question, I think this is true in any country. Girls just have to deal with stuff that, guys just don't have to deal with as well. Coming back on the murder thing that you're saying as well, there's another thing as well. Even Japanese, they comment about this. The murder rate in Japan and the crime rate is astronomically low. But what is left, there's two things that are kind of a result of that. One, the murder stories in Japan, even if it's like, one person killing one person, they all make the news. So, there is as much murder in the news as in other countries, and there's a lot of media attention on the news. The other thing I think is partly because of the statistics making it so low in the first place, is that frankly, as you were alluding to, Kelly, the sort of murder crimes that you see tend to be weird. They tend to be people who are kind of really, a bit off to begin with, who are doing these, as you'd always presume. But, the fact that I think it's partly to do with the rarity as well, that you have the real weirdos that do this, and it just means that there is definitely, and even Japanese comment on this, there is a thing about the crimes in Japan, that they are always really, really, kind of extra nasty and unpleasant when they happen.
Are you saying like some Japanese people, like it could, like something's wrong with them? Like,
no, what I'm saying is that the 0.5, the 1% of the population that's either mentally ill or has these issues that would be murdering in any country, but maybe that's being obscured because there's a higher murder rate. Maybe there's more crimes of passion. Maybe there's more insurance murders or whatever in other countries. In Japan, it's just the crazies. I think it's the same. I don't think it's unique about Japan, but because you have the other murders, they're not obscuring that. It means that all the murders that you see on the news look like they're really, let's face it. I mean, this is an anecdotal observation, but I think that it seems like every murder in Japan has got some kind of really weird sexual or really kind of,
obsession.
There are some really weird aspects about,
I blame the sex industry in Japan. I really do, because it's so open. Like, you could just walk into a convenience store and see porn, and kids go in there. Like, and there's a game. There's a game out. It's just my friend bought it, and it was just, you get a girlfriend, and then you grope her. That's it.
That's
I was like, that is so gross. What like, who would buy that game? Like, it's just these things that they come out with, and it's everywhere. Like, there's love hotels everywhere. There's all kinds of stuff and it's all so open. Like, it's just really open.
Huh. Well, that's a big box of worms right there. A big can of worms. The question is, does porn cause rape? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I don't really.
I think coming back again, the problem is, in America they obviously don't cover every murder in the newspapers. In Japan they do. And like I said, I've got a theory. It's because the rate is so low, and because it's only the weirdos who really get into that there's a weird flavor to it. So if you're talking about, and if you're talking about people who are intellectually have got problems to begin with, and people that are easily influenced by that kind of thing, I honestly think, well, one, the openness is throughout the culture, and frankly, it's not just guys either. I mean, there is the exploitative part of it in the sex industry, like you're saying, but I think just the culture as a whole, I think women here are more open as well. I mean, it's just the whole, it's a different orientation around that. The porn thing, I don't know, whenever I see porn in a convenience store now, honestly, I'm like, who would buy porn in a convenience store now?
I know.
Geez, give them a 33K modem and tell them to go crazy with, But,
yeah, I agree.
But I mean, even a fax machine, you could do it more privately. But I don't know.
Fax machine?
Well, even compared to going to a convenience store with a magazine, I mean, the 1980s want their porn back. Seriously.
Did people ever really receive porn through a fax machine?
I'm sure someone's tried it in Japan.
I don't know if this could be a thing, but I noticed as a teacher, a lot of mental illnesses aren't addressed.
No, they're not treated. Yeah.
A lot of the kids, what's that?
They're not treated.
You're right. The families.
They're not treated. But they're not even acknowledged. Some parents, I know some kids have there's some kind of autism or something going on. I've been a teacher for a while. I've done a lot of student teaching in the States too, and I've seen this, and I just the staff knows that there's something wrong, but the parents don't agree. So it's very hard to teach those kids because there's no one in the room that that can, take care of them. So you're trying to teach like 8 or 10 other kids, and then there's one student that is maybe wandering or shouting out weird things, or there's just something going on, and I don't think the parents like just how they're brought up. It could be just how they're brought up, and
it's a stigma. If, the parents are to acknowledge a kind of a mental deficiency, they're afraid of through the whole family how it would look, which
probably
is the wrong reason not to do it, but that's how it is. But coming back, so personally, my personal view of this, and this is as a guy that doesn't deal with all the crap that you obviously deal with and see, I think the openness is overall a positive thing, and I think it contributes to the fact that there is actually less. I mean, Japan has lower, as far as I'm aware, lower rape, lower murder, lower crime rates on everything.
Yep, very much.
I am open to the suggestion that on that thin slice of stuff that happens, and the fact that stuff is so weird, do I think that's influenced by the culture, and by that open sex culture? Yeah, I think it probably is at that level, but I think it would be anywhere. I mean, again, I come from a country where rape, where rape of strangers by strangers, like violent and everything, is a huge and growing problem in New Zealand. And you talk about places that are not safe to walk at night and so on. I don't think that the fact is you can walk through Kabukicho, you can walk through the Love Hotel district of Shibuya, at any time of night, alone as a female, and they're safe. I mean, if anything, they're safer because the gangsters are protecting the streets when the police aren't.
Well, I think I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that think that nothing will happen, but it still can. So, like, when people tell me, like, oh, you're fine by yourself, but you never know. So, like you can't say, oh, you're 100% safe. So, that's definitely the thing that bothers me is when people say, like, you're totally fine, like, you can walk at night. But I do feel safer here because I've walked alone on campus at Michigan State, and I've been approached by weird men. And, like, that's scarier because there's weapons in America, and you never know what he has on him, so.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate to interrupt you, but Kelly.
Oh.
It's time.
It's time.
Everyone.
I
have some very bad news for Hiko Simon.
My midlife crisis.
1 year older.
Yeah.
Hiko, how old are you now?
I am officially midlife crisis. I'm 40. 40. Damn. I'm
40 years old.
40 years young.
That's okay. Provided I look after myself, I'm halfway through now. Yes.
You gotta sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Hiko Simon.
Happy
birthday to you. Okay, there we go.
Thank you very much.
Yeah!
And because I'm a boring person, I have to actually say to you, the fantastic news is that this week, that song, oh, cheers.
Yes, copyright.
That song, after 80 years, finally entered the public domain this week. You could have been DMCA'd for singing that song last week. This week you can't be DMCA'd.
It's true. It's true.
Oh.
Yeah, for the first time ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats. Now let me argue with you.
Yeah. I'll win whatever it is.
I gotta challenge unless New Zealanders are different types of human beings. Yeah. From what I've heard regarding rape, not that I'm an expert on rape, what I've heard, the majority of rape is acquaintance rape.
Sorry?
At least in America, 80% of girls and women were assaulted by someone they knew.
That's worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying strangers. Oh, you're saying it's going up.
I'm saying that those rates are increasing, and that's something which has become a real thing now, that people are afraid of stranger, violent, aggravated rape. Which is which means literally walking, being afraid of strangers and so on.
If you look at the stats, actually, we should be more afraid of our acquaintances.
Oh no question.
Isn't it bizarre?
You know what? I realized too that even in Japan, there's a lot of foreigners that have done this stuff before, have approached me from other countries. It's not just Japanese people. So I just want to make that clear. It's not just Japanese people that have done these things to me. Right. So just to, yeah.
But one of the things one of the most common things I hear women talk about is the boob grab.
Yeah.
Like people run by and bicycles, they'll go by on bicycles and grab someone.
And by the way, the thing about the boob grab is that the boob grab is, of course, I mean, it's a crime. You can go to jail for it. Don't do it. But at the same time, when I kind of hear about it, I kind of think, is everybody here like mentally 12 years old?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Why would you bother? But
I mean, yeah. Like, seriously, I again, as a grown dude, I just can't comprehend what's going on in another dude's mind that they somehow think that it's a good idea. Like, what are they expecting? They're expecting someone to say, "Oh, thank you." What are they expecting? I don't know.
I don't know.
so
Would you do it again, please? That was great.
I can't point to the specific study, but I came across something recently about. Did you guys remember like a year ago? There was a son of some famous Hollywood producer killed himself. And he wrote this. He made this video talking about how no woman would go out with him.
I remember that. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And apparently, there's some study that came out. I wish I could remember who did it and all that, but the people who kill, all these frustrated, are basically frustrated versions. People who cannot get laid. I mean, not of course not all of them, but a lot of them. If they just had a little love in their life, they wouldn't succumb to that. And they get all this angry that they can't get laid.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, but yeah. I mean, obviously, being content or whatever, having issues like that is something that will contribute to anyone acting weird. Are we talking about boob grabbing still?
No, but the reasons for violence, the reasons for violence, and I think pornography is completely safe if you know what you're looking at, and if you can understand what women are really like, and you're not creating a world. You don't mistake the pornographic world, the porn world, as the real world. And I think the people who are doing that stuff and I think Kelly's right. It probably does inspire some people to violence and to rape and stuff like that. But I'm imagining those are people who don't know what the real world is like. I mean, I've seen my share of
issues already.
Anyone?
Well, I think those are people with issues already. But the thing is that society has a certain number of percentage of people in any society who have those issues and are going to be susceptible to that. I don't think it's correct to say that would affect normal people. But that doesn't mean that there's not. I think there's a grain of truth to that. I mean, there is this huge paradox.
I have to say, think about AKB48. There's this young, there's a lot of older men that like young, cute girls. Nobody's really dressing sexy here. A lot of girls dress really cute, like little girls. I don't know. It's just there's the large fan base of these groups are older men. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of pop culture and social media and all that stuff, porn, everything kind of influences it a little bit.
Is that wrong? I mean, Ian.
No.
I mean, is it wrong? Is it wrong for middle-aged men to be fans of young pop idol girls? Though? I mean, I know that there's a creepy thing.
It's so weird. Those girls are 60 years old.
I mean, as the official new member of the middle-aged club, I mean, do I have to tear down all my posters now? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you like AKB48? I'm sorry.
No, I don't. But if I did...
皆さんこんばんは。もう少しゆっくり話してもらえると嬉しいです。Says one of our.
Yeah. But so I don't know. Is it now wrong? Would it be weird for me to, without doing anything wrong or anything inappropriate, but to be a fan of an 18-year-old pop idol? Would that be? What should I stop?
No, but you think about what else goes through the minds of those men and what their intentions are for going out into the world, and you never know. There's probably normal people that love those groups and have done nothing wrong. So I don't know. It's kind of
you're worried about
the majority have done nothing wrong though, Kelly.
Yeah.
You're kind of making it up.
People are probably completely safe people. They just happen to like that group. I don't particularly.
I just think it's creepy. I just think it's weird.
Well, if you look at it from a biological point of view, and I'm not saying I feel this way myself, but older men marrying 15 and 16-year-old girls used to be the norm. I mean, that's how old your bride is. My dad met my mom when she was 15, and they dated for 5 years before they got married, and they dated with a what do you call it? A a nun. Actually, they went out together with a nun to what's it called when you babysit a date? What is that called?
I don't know.
No, it's a call. What do they call it?
I forgot.
It'll come back to me. But yes, not a chauffeur, but something like that.
Sure. But
Not a chauffeur, something like that. A chaperone.
Chaperone, yes, thank you.
Yes.
But they had a chaperone for 5 years, and then they got married.
Yeah.
You know, and she was 15, he was 22.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, I'm just observing the comments. By the way, to update everyone. Christina in Japan has arrived, and she says, "Hey Kelly, there's a debate going on about the urge to grab balls." I should just add, I have had my balls grabbed before, although it was only in a gay bar. And it was by a dude. It was never by a girl. So maybe it's a thing guys have, that maybe guys are tactile. Maybe we need to. There's something there. Maybe that. Have you ever had a girl, like just randomly a woman grab you at all, Victor? It's never happened to me.
Some stranger? Not unless we were already starting something, you know.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so there was clear advanced consent anyway. Non-consensual grabbing you've never had?
No, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
I think I've had like in Tokyo clubs, I've had like butt grabs and stuff like that, and I've turned around, it was always a dude, and I'm like, dude. Just one time I wanted to be a girl, but okay, it's always a guy. And I remember the first time it happened, and I've explained. Actually, I had someone say to me once, how they were uncomfortable around gay guys, and I told them this story about the first time I was ever grabbed by, a gay guy, and I said, just arrived in Japan, 22, 21, or whatever, in a club, butts grabbed, like, what the hell, turn around, and it's a guy. And my first reaction, of course, is to punch him in the face.
Right. You're from New Zealand, right?
I'm from New Zealand. You're a dude. You've got your hand on my ass. I'm going to punch you in the face now. But I stopped and I thought about it for a minute, and I thought to myself, well, it's not a crime for that guy to have good taste, So, it's a shame for him that he just can't have it. Sorry, bad luck. Smile, wave the hand, see you later. And that's kind of the rationale I came around for dealing with this. But yes.
I do remember, and I think you'll remember more now. I do remember that there is a weird thing in Japan when guys get guys that I'm pretty sure they're all straight. They get drunk, and they start playing ass grab. I mean, literally. Like they start grabbing each other's balls and stuff and asses when they're drunk. They do stuff that's kind of gay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that per se. This is maybe coming back to what you were saying, Kelly, in the beginning. I myself had to adapt when I came to Japan with, as you said, how just open, like the line of what's okay in conversation or what's okay for behavior, even among friends, is so different here. And I was completely thrown in the beginning. The kind of conversations, just the conversations, let alone, as Victor's saying, people get drunk and they act like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a big part of adjusting for me. You found that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, like the last show that you guys had, I think I said like my ex-boyfriend would talk about like porn with his friend, like just openly, like it was just like a normal conversation. Like I was there, I was like, what? So you're talking? He's like, what's your favorite? What's your favorite porn star or something like that? What?
I don't think I ever talk about porn with anybody.
But I think Japanese. Like young Japanese guys do. Like I don't know. I think I've heard it before. But it's like a normal thing. Like they share that with their friends, and I feel like in the States, I don't know. Maybe guys talk about stuff to each other?
But this is exactly it. So no, I never even with friends.
Weird, yeah. Usually not.
I never talked about that, but I came to Japan and I've had conversations with Japanese, like which they exactly like what you're talking about, and I kind of had the same reaction, like it kind of threw me. Mm-hmm. But the thing, what kind of shocked me the most was not the fact. I mean, I've been with a circle of friends from high school, right, guys and girls. And this girl just started dating a guy, and so she starts asking her friends from high school about BJ techniques. Mm-hmm. Like what should she be doing? Should I be doing this or this? And the thing is that they're not even talking about it in an interesting way. They're talking about it like, I'm wondering, should I get a blue bag or a red bag? What do you think? And you should totally, if you're getting a, it's like they're talking about mowing the lawns. and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, wait a minute, what?
Oh my gosh! But I mean, like girls in the States, they like talk about that stuff. I mean, but not like they're like in front of people, like. they're like gossiping together alone. So
hanging out with friends, having milkshakes with guys and girls there. Start asking
that's
the guys.
weird. That's really strange.
That's weird, right? I thought it was kind of cool, but it was weird.
It's cool.
Mm.
And the thing is, it didn't even sound interesting to them the way that they were talking about it. That's what shocked me the most. I was like, but yes, so there is that. But at the same time, I think, as you say, that openness predisposes people to maybe being a bit more forward and inappropriately forward sometimes as well. I mean, some guys just don't have a freaking clue, right?
Mm.
You know, about where the line is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's getting better. You know, when I in the 90s, the bubble period in the late 90s, Japan was famous for office sexual harassment. The train groping, everything. This was like, oh, this is Japan. You have to put up with the people reading porn mags on the train. It used to be a big thing. You know, people complain about in the 90s. Now I guess they do it on their smartphones. But what started after 2000 was the government and companies really started to enhance the awareness of sexual harassment. And all of a sudden, I remember my company, like when they rolled out the first ever sexual harassment training, and it was like it was the classic scenario of showing the drunk lecherous boss at karaoke making the young AKB member girl sing songs and kind of lean over her, kind of grabbing her, and you know, video. Okay, what is Bob doing wrong in this picture? He should be fired. You know, and all the middle managers, you know, in this training, I'm like, what's wrong with that? Why is it only guys that get punished for this? Isn't that sexist? I remember, like, it was literally like showing cavemen the first ever sexual harassment video, and I was there watching that. But I think that has had an impact. I mean, to the point that behavior is improving and it's shifting. But it had believe me, it used to be so much worse, and it started from such a different position.
Yeah.
Amadofu's in the comment section, and he's openly gay, and he says that he has been groped in Japan by strangers, and he's.
I saw that.
Which brings me to another interesting case, talking about office sexual harassment. There was a case about, I think it was about 10 years ago. It was a really high-profile case, and Higo, you might remember it. I don't remember the company, but a lower-level employee sued his boss for sexual harassment, and they were both men. He'd go away on company trips, and the older man would get into his futon with him. And do you remember this?
Vaguely. If it's consensual, nothing wrong with that.
It wasn't consensual.
It's not consensual.
Man. But he was afraid of getting fired, so he put up with it for a long time. But yeah, I was surprised that that kind of lawsuit would get anywhere in Japan. So that's good.
Okay. And that is a safety thing. This is not a safety thing, but I'm kind of curious for your take on this. And this is kind of, I think, Mark's. I don't think this would happen anymore. But I know, again, 1999, I know a girl who just joined a big company. It used to be that they would, this is probably the situation that happened, there would be these company trips.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Where it would be like the whole company would take vacations and get to know you better vacation, where they'd all go up to an onsen for like a weekend, like all the companies together.
What's the name? What's the Japanese name for that?
Shine Yoko or something like that.
Something about relaxing.
Well, but the point is, that was a situation where they would have these, all employees going and booking a bus, booking out a hotel, going up into the mountains, going to an onsen. Right. And and the boss getting into one of the junior guys' futons, right? Same thing used to happen with girls, and I'm sure there was like a ton of sexual harassment, and and whatever. Sometimes there'd be hookups that way, and sometimes there would be lawsuits. My friend was like one of only 3 females with like 90 guys co-hired, and so she had to do the booking for the adult entertainment for the guys.
Oh my God, that's sexual harassment.
She was tasked with booking the hotel. I think it is, and she was coming back and saying, well, what she was complaining all about was, first, it was really embarrassing. I had to call up the soap land to make a reservation for 75 guys, and then all the guys got on the bus, and they just left me back at the hotel. I'm not sure exactly what she was complaining about, whether it was about not being able to go, or the fact that she had to make the embarrassing phone call.
And she didn't get to go. She didn't get any fun.
she didn't even get the soap. So,
That's strange.
That's very 90s, and I'd be really shocked if that happened now. That would probably make I hope that would make the news now. But I mean, her coming and asking, like, isn't this wrong? And all the guys, the Japanese guys, are like, no, that sounds good to me. So yeah, there's definitely those attitudes that undermine, weird behavior. I think it's improving in terms of the society mentality.
Yeah, I think so too.
But the safety thing, yeah. So I don't know. What's your take on? One thing I used to like doing was taking women or taking friends, if they come to Japan, I'd take them straight to kabuki, and I'd say, look, here's kabuki, look around, you're in the most dangerous place in Japan. And everyone laughed and said, oh, this isn't dangerous at all. And I'd say, yeah, that's it. I'm guilty of being one of these guys who just says, Japan's safe, don't worry about it. But you've encountered stuff I haven't encountered, and maybe I need to be more mindful of this as well. But what is your take? Your advice is to women that they shouldn't walk alone at night, or they should be careful of the neighborhood, or what's your advice?
I mean, I still do. Like, I go home at night by myself, but I have my bike, so I feel safer on a bike. But, like, I mean, if I were to go, like, it depends on what time it is, too. Like, if it's 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, I'm going home by myself, I'm at the station, I'd probably take a taxi. Like, I wouldn't walk alone at night. I still think, like, I'm just saying, like, you have to be careful wherever you go. Japan is safer, but like, it still can happen, so you never know. So, like, you always have to be on your guard. You shouldn't let your guard down completely. Because I've been told so many times by people, like, oh, no, you're fine, like, 100% fine. Yeah. And, like, that I don't feel... Maybe because I told Victor I have anxiety, so like I think maybe a little bit of it has to do with like my anxiety. So it's just.
Which we should talk about that.
Yeah.
How can we wrap up crime in Japan? I mean, safety in Japan. It's safer than other places, but yeah, you still got to watch your ass.
Yeah.
And your balls.
And your balls. Yeah. Men too have to be careful. Just watch out.
Yeah, well, the word is, you know the word heiwaboke?
No.
Okay, heiwaboke is a Japanese term. It means Alzheimer's from it being too peaceful. It means people lose their common sense from they feel too much like it's safe. They never let it, or they go, and it's a problem for a lot of foreigners who live here too long, and they go back to America. You know, when I would leave my wallet, used to leave my wallet on my desk at work.
Yeah.
And that's heiwaboke. And Japanese complain Japan's too heiwaboke. They're completely they've become.
That's why when they go abroad, they're easy targets.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too, like the wallet thing. My friend just recently, she left her wallet at the table at the restaurant, got up for a second, came back, it was gone. Like it still can happen. Like it's not like it's never gonna happen. Like, oh, you can leave your bags here, it's completely safe.
I've had so many things returned to me. I've had a camera, wallet, passport, 2 laptops.
Yeah, it's probably returned more here too, but like my friend never got her wallet returned.
But you know, at the same time as you say that, and I agree, I never leave my wallet like on a table unattended, like, you know. But at the same time, everywhere in Tokyo, the people hold places at tables and go and line up by leaving your wallet on the table.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It happens.
But yes, they should know that those things can disappear. So the term is they lose common sense from the sense, and and you should always be careful not to go too crazy with the feeling too safe.
Always be careful, kids.
Yeah.
That's the lesson for today.
You want to talk about your anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, like I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, so like I get like really. I don't know how to explain it. I've never actually talked about it with somebody except for people that were like really close to me. But it's just like where you just feel really tense all the time and you worry about everything obsessively. So like I'll be worried about one thing for like the rest of the day and I won't be able to do anything else because I'll be so worried about something. That it sucks like really bad. So when you think about it, like if I go home at night, like tagging it into what we were talking about, just like I worry that something's going to happen to me. So then I think about that all the time.
Give us an example of what you worry about.
Just like, how can I get
in general, like something's going to happen?
Or? There's always that feeling that something bad is going to happen. Like there's like, I'll be worrying for no reason. Like I have nothing that I should be worrying about, but I'll just be feeling like I should be worrying about something. Like I should.
Because you're happy right now. That happens to me when I'm happy. When everything's really going really well, I figure something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah, I have a lot of I have anxiety attacks too. Like if I'm thinking too much, like I'll start to have like my heart will race. I'll get sweaty. I'll get lightheaded. Like I'll have like these like mini attacks. And especially like when I'm in large crowds, it's not just worrying. It's just like when I'm around people that I barely know, talking to people, I get anxious. So I think just worrying about little things like tomorrow I'm going to be conducting a test. I'm going to be giving a test to kids. What if I mess up? Like, the kids are more nervous than me. I'll be thinking about how nervous I am and how I'm going to, like, fuck it all up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can see right here.
I have a hint for
You
that.
cannot say fuck on this show. So she said fuck. What do we do about that?
No fucking is allowed. I went to an all boys school. I talked about this before. When I was doing exams and a teacher would I think when he was suffering anxiety, he would cope with it by just screaming abuse randomly at one of the kids. It seemed to help. Just you can take that or leave it. It's just for you to decide what to do with it. No, okay, you don't have to do that. Don't worry. No, and don't worry, you're not going to do that tomorrow. I used to date a girl who got panic attacks like that sometimes, and it was interesting for me. I've never run into it before or since, but just the whole, it was kind of. I mean, I actually kind of enjoyed the fact. Okay, that means I've got 30 minutes of just talking calmly to this person, which I can just talk forever anyway. But helping them get through. But I've seen how it can happen, and
I mean, especially like living in another country too. Like when I first if you have anxiety, like for anybody out there that does have anxiety, and because I did get a message from one girl that said she has a little bit of depression and a little bit of anxiety, and she said like, how do you like cope with? She asked, how do you cope with that? And I just like, I guess my advice, like when you come to Japan, you should know about the culture first of all, and you should know the language, because my ex-boyfriend was like, I had a lot of anxiety with him too, because there was a lot of issues going on with that. But he told me that I couldn't do anything on my own if I left. And so I left, and I knew the language, so I was fine. So if you know the language, you can do anything on your own. If you don't, maybe you need some help.
It takes longer sometimes, but yeah, you can do it.
But yeah, I feel like if you do have like anxiety or worries or anything, you should educate yourself a little bit on the country. And when you come here, I feel like you'll be a lot more comfortable, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I've done that I couldn't have done by myself if I didn't know Japanese.
I mean, in a way, do you feel like, and I've observed it, I know sometimes it comes on for small things that can trigger the panic attacks, right? Like it can even be you're not even consciously aware of what the trigger is, but you just got to take a moment sometimes. But at the same time, I mean, do you think maybe being, well, one thing I give uniform advice, and I've given this advice before, if you have issues already, like depression or, kind of anxiety would be one of those things, and you already have trouble managing that, coming to Japan is not going to make that situation better.
No, it's not.
A lot of people.
There's like lifestyle changes that you can make to make it better. Like if I were back in the States, I'll be trying to change my lifestyle to better fit my anxiety, and also, but like I said, like coming to Japan, to any country, like you should educate yourself and know just to help, but it's not going to change the situation. Like you're totally right, it's not going to change anything.
But at the same time, do you feel like being here has helped you to manage it better, or is it no different?
I mean, like I was told, like when I did have anxiety, I didn't really tell my parents about it when I was living back in the States. So they kept telling me like, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with you. And like I don't want to say there's something wrong with me, because everybody has some kind of anxiety like at some point in their life, or but like I just never really knew how to deal with it back home. So I feel like now that I know that I have something, that I'm more aware of it, and it's helping me. But yeah, living in another country doesn't change anything, or being this. I think if I were in the States, it would still be the same. So
Yeah.
But there are a lot of like things that here that make me worry a lot more. Like if I have to go to the ward office and try to explain something, even if it's in Japanese, like am I gonna not be able to explain something correctly, or like there's a lot of things that come with living in another country, even if you don't have anxiety. So.
Well, that's right. I mean, and like you say, I could induce it. To be in a way, if you've got those kind of issues, it can make or break. You can either become more independent and more able to manage it, and more, or it can be completely the opposite and make everything worse.
I think I've become more independent with it. So, yeah.
But at the same time, and I hate to say this, but you really don't need language at all to live in this
No,
country.
you don't think so?
I know. I mean, I hate to say it, but I know lots of people who've lived in this country for longer than I have who
Oh
barely
yeah.
speak the language, and it's amazing to me. But they seem, and they're happy-go-lucky, and they don't seem to have any
But I feel
anxiety.
like they need, like my friend lived here for like 10 years and she didn't speak a lick of Japanese, and she had to get a lot of help though.
Yeah.
Like she always had to ask for help.
But those people seem. I mean, I'm speaking of a particular person, but he asks his girlfriend or some people at work, and they help him.
Yeah.
And other people can't do it. So I'm not. I don't think it's a. But he goes right. If you have anxiety already, this is not the place. It's not going to help you. But if you're the kind of person who's laid back and happy-go-lucky, then you might be fine in Japan. You know, it really depends on the person in the end.
But at the same time, if it helps you find ways yourself to manage it, to be more independent and to manage it, I mean that's a great thing as well. Which it sounds like you've been able to do, Kelly.
Yeah,
To some
I
extent.
think so.
So how do you deal with your anxiety?
I've been trying to change the way, like I haven't been sleeping much. Because of anxiety, I have insomnia, so I don't sleep very good. So I've been trying to go to bed early and get like on a good schedule. I get sick a lot because I'm always staying up late and I'm not going to sleep. So I'm trying to like shut off my phone like half an hour before I go to sleep, just so I'm not like thinking so much. Like I was just talking to Victor about Facebook. Like I'm like on Facebook before I go to bed. I'm like depressed looking at some of those things on there, and then I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, look, I mean everyone does it, but looking at Facebook before you go to sleep is like the worst thing to do, both for your mental state and your sleeping thing.
Yes. So I've been trying to do that, and I've been trying to like meditate. So I do some meditation, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm new at that, so I'm trying to do some meditation a little bit more.
You yoga with Tomoko.
Yeah, I should do yoga. That's what I need to do.
But you're not on medication or anything.
No, I really don't want medication. Like I want to try to deal with it like without the medication.
No, I asked that because there have been cases of people bringing medication over and getting arrested.
You have to be careful with that. Yeah.
If you're someone on medication, be very careful when you try to come over with your meds.
Well, get a prescription, just do it all above board, learn what the rules are, and don't try to be clever about it. That's the only thing. But don't let that stop you from getting meds. Holy crap.
Yeah, get your meds if you need.
Don't avoid it. But
yeah, I think I'm just trying to take steps to see like what I can do without medication, and then see how it goes. But when I'm at work and stuff like that, I'm so focused on like my job, like I never think about anything else but my job. And I feel like as a teacher, like seeing kids, like I love my kids, and it's like therapy for me. So like I think that like my anxiety is controlled if I'm really focused on something or doing something that I like to do. So just doing more things that I like to do, like drawing. I love art. I love singing. So I do a lot more stuff like that.
I didn't know you drew.
Yeah, I wanted to be an artist when I was in junior high school and high school.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't do it so much anymore. So.
You put that in your videos?
What?
Your drawings in your videos? Anything?
No, I didn't put anything in my videos.
You should do that.
I should.
It's always fun to see how people draw. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just relaxes my mind a little bit when you're drawing or coloring or anything like that. So. Yeah. Do more things you love.
Damn straight.
Can you tell us anything about next week's guest, Christina?
Christina.
Gonna hype
yeah,
up the
I
audience.
hate that girl. I still want to see her face. No, I'm just kidding.
Cause your anxiety.
No,
beautiful.
Christina's awesome. She'll probably talk better than me. I'm so bad at talking.
You've done pretty well.
You've done fine.
Yeah.
What?
No, you've done pretty well. You're doing great.
I'm not very interesting. I think Christina's very interesting.
Well, what I've loved is she's been making videos for about the same amount of time I think as you have. Maybe, in fact, less. I think maybe 5 or 6 months. But
yeah.
I actually watched every single one of her videos. You can do it in about an hour. They're all very short. They're all very well edited. And you can almost see the curve. One, she started at a level of editing that, frankly, is above like most people on YouTube anyway.
Really good at it.
I couldn't believe her first video. I want the awkward dark room and the bumping webcam, and
Yeah.
But I've also observed how she's gone from doing just very simple, look at this parfait or look at this travel thing, and to actually going now she's actually making like super interesting videos on top of the regular videos as well. And it's like, whoa, she's having a progression in 5 months that, that I haven't reached after doing this for, since 2008. So,
Yeah,
oh my
she has
God, it's
some
2008. So I
And
don't
she
know.
knows Amadolfu as well, by the way.
So
yeah,
you guys,
actually, her and Amadofu, Chris, and me, we're always like every day, like we're texting. We have a group chat, so we're always texting each other. Like we're a support group, the three of us. What's that?
That's great. We should get Amadolfu on sometime too, Hiko.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
If he's
so
willing to
sweet.
talk about
I
his.
love him. I love you, Chris.
I want to hear his grabbing stories.
Yeah, no, he's so great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, well, we're well over time, but this is
Yeah, we're well
so
over
much
time.
fun
So we gotta
talking to
wrap
you.
up.
Thank you for coming on. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, no
Especially
problem.
with your cold. She has a cold as well, and she's drinking wine.
I do. I'm
So cheers.
Cheers. I have like no wine left.
So
Happy birthday.
Oh,
yeah,
thank
happy
you.
birthday, Hiko.
Yeah.
Have a good birthday. Have a great night.
I'll try
Doing
to.
anything more?
drink
You celebrate with
more.
your family?
This is like the only day in the year I have human rights, so I'm just going to try not to sleep.
As a fellow husband, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for coming on, and yeah, come back next week, next Saturday. We're going to get Christine in Japan. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
Please
definitely.
check the description for Strawberry Mochi's link. You can subscribe to her there. She also
Subscribe to her
has,
channel.
Twitter, which is strawmochi08.
And if you haven't subscribed to her yet, I mean, what's wrong with you to begin with? But if you haven't, if you're one of the only
Probably
people,
subscribe. If you haven't, this will put you over the edge, hopefully. So.
yeah. And watch your channel because she's like exploding. Your channel's just growing so fast.
I don't know why. I really don't.
Yeah, sorry, no, I will leave it there. I just thought of a whole new line of conversation, but yes.
We could talk all night.
We could, and we'll got to get you back on and do this again sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's fun.
Thanks
Awesome.
for watching, guys.
All right.
And see you guys next week. Next week on Hiko Simon's channel. Next week on Hiko Simon's channel. Hiko Simon. Next week on Hiko Simon's channel.
I'll be there.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye.